When we see their great full forward there, Jason Dunstall, who's been terribly good, but he's kicked 60% of their score. Their defence has been the problem. Graham back might bolster that area there. They get scored the heaviest against Hawthorn. They've got to fix that up, but their form's been reasonable without winning.
What about the conditions with Jason Dunstall today?
Well, it's not going to help the marking forward, but of course down the other end with Lyon and Schwarz, it's not going to help them either.
Well, there's the Demons about to come onto the ground. They've had a terrific first half of the season. They've won 6 and they've lost 4, and today they get back Jeff Farmer, who's such an important player in midfield, and Jimmy Steins as well. But I dare say, Lee, that looking at their side, they've relied a lot on Woe Wodens and the Uzes of the side and the Travis Johnstons, and just hearing Neil Danaher there before, maybe they're just gone off the boil.
They probably need Lyon and Schwarz to find a bit more form than they've been showing the last month. They certainly miss Todd Viney's hardness around the midfield.
Well, certainly he's going to have a great game here today.
Thank you, gentlemen. We're set to go. It's the Demons and the Hawks back with all of the action right after this. He'll start proceedings. And Hawthorn have been knocking on the door for some time. They need a win this afternoon. After a while, consistency stands for naught. Not if you're not winning. There's the first bounce. White was up with Salmon, fell at their feet. In goes Woods, left it behind. Scrambly around the centre. Bishop down towards half forward. In the road is Hay. Nicely done. Hay comes out wide towards the wing. Crawford played so well last week on James Hird. Shane Crawford boots it up towards half forward. Melbourne there in number, but Chick running back with the flight of the ball has taken a very good mark. Chick wants to go, and why not put it in the direction of Dunstall? But Woden gets back, sensing the danger.
He's playing loose man back there, Dennis. Melbourne often drop Woden or Anthony McDonald back, and Hawthorn are going to have to bypass that play, dropping in between.
Hay did well. Intended for Gergich. Hay from 70 metres out. Woden once more at the back of the pack. Stephen Febey having a wonderful season. Clever mark in front under pressure.
And goes very short and finds Jeff White. Gets the ball rolling very quickly back to Leoncelli into the centre square. So the race is on. McDonald was in hot pursuit, but Farmer, the wizard, running into an open goal. Back into the side for the Demons, and he's got it.
He can run, Farmer, can he? He's interesting first game back after missing a couple of weeks with a hamstring injury. I just wonder whether he'd actually be accelerating absolutely foot to the floorboards. You're always a little bit tentative on the first game back. And he just, when he ran onto the ball, he was going to be hard to pick up. I don't think he actually burst. But he's got great high speed and made the most of the chance.
Well, such an important player for Melbourne. They missed him last week. And McCabe has the big job of picking up Jeff Farmer. He's booted 11 goals now for the season. So a great start for the D's. And the whistle is gone. Free kick is going to Salmon. So the big fish towards centre half forward, just pops it out in front, looking for Holland, couldn't take it. Hopgood at the fall of the ball, thrashing his way through Zuze. He's had a marvellous season, kicks the ball out towards Gergic, clever against Hay, 2 young guns, Harford, quick to pounce on it, back to McCabe. He's got the big job on Farmer, back towards centre half forward, Holland. Over the top was Ingerson, went the punch. Here's Crummell right on 50. Dunstall's going to be the target, a bit too much. Carry's got it, not paid. Propped in front, Shanahan heads towards the boundary line. And he'll find Febey, Matthew Febey.
Short one. Seacamp squares the ball yet again. This is Ward. Ward running away from half-back. Penetrating kick down towards centre half forward. Lyon comes up on the lead. That went all of 60 metres. Pinpoint accuracy. Kick for space, and Lyon ran hard into it. Lyon from 60. Down towards full forward. It could carry Farmer. It has. It's a goal. Melbourne second.
Well, that was a very poor bit of play 30 seconds earlier by Crummell. He crossed the 50-metre line. He could have run to 45 and had a shot, but he tried to pass it short to Dunstall, KB. I couldn't understand that. Shanahan's on Dunstall's tail. Woden's back there. You can't go to a one-man forward line. You've got to take your chances coming forward. And I thought Crummell almost created that turnover from which Lyon has scored the goal.
Well, Garry Lyon, it's good to see him on the burst because he's had so many problems with his back. There's always doubts about his fitness. Leoncelli out of the centre square. So the race is on. Taken away by Leckis, been one of the Hawks' best this year. McDonald was the tackler. Leoncelli on hands and knees. The free kick will go to Hawthorn. Taylor has been their leading kick winner. Goes short, finds Woods. So again, the Hawks pump the ball inside 50, and Ingerson backing back takes the mark.
They really need Nick Holland, don't they, Hawthorn? If Ingerson can control Holland, that will go a big way to deciding the game, because Hawthorn need Holland to kick a score, I would think.
Leoncelli gives it across to Hopgood. Hopgood towards half forward. Harford knocked it away. Down went McDonald. Gergic lost it. Farmer couldn't control it. McKay went without it. Harford only as far as Farmer. Farmer looping hand pass out wide. Woden released on his left side if he can control it. Still Woden out towards the boundary. Goes back the other way to Johnston. Leckis got him. Good tackle by Leckis. Ball close to the boundary line. It's across. Boundary throw in. Melbourne lead by 12 points early going.
Good tackle, isn't it? So important to make sure those tackles don't get broken. Good play then by Leckis.
White, who played so well last week, the #1 pick in the '94 draft, 14 marks against Adelaide, beaten that time by Salmon. Socket off the ground by Farmer, close to the boundary line. Robran, I think, will take it across. Kept it in initially. Well played. Crawford, they attack and they're rewarded. Taylor now from half back up towards the wing. Crummell, was he pushed in the back? No free kick. Ward comes through. Was he pushed in the back? Nothing doing. Febey tries to control it. Uze hasn't got it. Seacamp knocks it goalward. Well worked. Bishop got it across to Matthew Febey. Febey goes long. Lyon kept his eye on the ball. Too easy.
Well, this is a very, very good start to Melbourne. They've really only got deep forward 3 times. They've kicked 3 goals. Hawthorn have been up there as many times, but they just don't really look like scoring on their first few thrusts. Really just this ability to keep the ball running forward. A lot of players touched the ball, didn't they, until eventually Bishop, the quick hands to Febey, he was released. And Lyon, just the body use and the eye on the ball, just completely outplayed Chapman.
Perfect start for Melbourne. They're 7th on the ladder, 6-4. The Hawks 14th, 2-8. Garry Lyons already booted 2 quick goals. Jeff Farmer looks very, very dangerous. It's all tied up inside the centre square, and they'll ball it up.
And that's what they've been looking for with Melbourne. That's been the missing link just recently, that Lyon really hasn't been able to get amongst the type of form that we've come to expect in what has been now a long career at the top.
Well, he's kicked 10 goals for the season coming to this game, Lee, which is not a high amount. Salmon has a big swipe of the ball, knocked on by Taylor. Johnson gets it across to Matthew Febey, picking up a couple of touches early. Inside 50 again. Garry Lyon on a long lead. He's got Chapman to beat, goes to ground. It'll be a little bit slippery. They've had a fair amount of rain out at Waverley. So the loose ball comes back. So Melbourne go forward off target and through for a behind. Let's go down to Russell Morris on the boundary line.
KB, yes, look, sorry about the communications problems before, but we're down behind the Hawthorn goals after what happened against Essendon last week. We've got to make sure that there are no wrongly recorded goals, but I think I'm down the wrong end. All the action's up the Melbourne end. It's disappointing from a Hawthorn point of view, but we're talking about the conditions. Look, there has been a lot of rain. Nick O'Shannessy, the curator, should be complimented because the ground has held it beautifully. The ball's bouncing well. Not a lot of breeze. Excellent conditions for footy, KB. So I'll keep you posted behind the goals. Just got to get the ball down here.
No pun intended. Across the boundary line, it's going to be a Hawthorn ball. Holland paid the mark, slips it away. Harford gave it away. Uze gets back, so Russell helping out down there. He's got a post and a flag. Uze goes across the ground. Regoni, it bounces off his chest. He controlled it well enough. Settles, looking for White. Shanahan kicks through the centre square. Holland, unkind bounce. Controlled it pretty well, though. Holland from half back. Untidy kick out towards the wing. Dixon will need to go. Close to the line. Can't keep it in. Boundary throw in right on the wing then. Graham still waiting to come on. Mark Graham down at the interchange gates. Currently 14 degrees, overcast and still. Melbourne lead by 19 points. They've got a flying start. Holland directs it down. This is Taylor. Around the corner, Melbourne in best position. Uze attacked it well. This is Ward off his step. It bounces up through the wing. Gergic knocked it down to his own advantage. Had it tapped away then by Taylor. This is Leckers. Leckers kicking towards half forward for the Hawks. Trummel is there, knocked away by Seacamp. Tallis soccers off the ground. Rigoni leads in the race. Tallis, great use of the body, deserves a goal. Russ indicates down there just the one hand of behind.
Dennis, it was only a behind. I'll checked.
Nice work. Keep it up. Don't lose your concentration.
Melbourne by 18 points. And Graham coming onto the field. Chapman's off after having 2 goals kicked on him by Garry Lyon. So Mark Graham is on.
Surprising, in fact, that Chapman was preferred to start on Lyon rather than Graham, I would have thought.
Seacamp has found the loose player in Matthew Febey. From the defensive 50 goes wide. And there's Garry Lyon. Now he's on the half-back flank. Kicks long, gets great distance. Here comes Jeff White. Good build-up by Melbourne. Travis Johnston also running hard down to the goal square. White goes short. This is a beautiful kick, and he finds McDonald.
The McDonald and Harford, their duel has taken place further up the ground, but just this last minute or two, Neil Danaher seems to have pushed McDonald into the full forward position. I think partly to push Harford back, so he's on the last line defence, not as a running midfielder, but another opportunity. They've certainly dominated this first part of the game, Melbourne.
Hasn't been all that accurate this year. 2 goals, 5 is his return from directly in front. He's on target.
Well, they're showing that they're not going to give away their position at the top of the ladder away with any ease. Melbourne, they've started to just struggle a little bit the last couple of weeks, but the way they've started this game is the team determined to make sure that they get to the halfway point of the season, entrenched in the final 8. 4 goals without Hawthorn scoring, and really their forward structure is looking much more dangerous.
Well, so far it seems Melbourne brought their own footy. 4-1 to a behind. Rucks go at it. Tallis at the base of the pack hurriedly. Harford goes back with the flight of the ball, lost it. Dixon feeds it off. Tallis once more inside the centre square. Dunstall on a lead off his fingertips. Stephen Febey feeds it away. Nicely done by Ingerson. Rigoni centering kick. Seacamp, a lot of confidence in that kick. Seacamp lays it off. Febey once more from centre half back towards the wing. White drops it. All the time in the world to recover. He's taken 2 marks already. I mentioned his 14 last week, the best by a Melbourne player this season. And Farmer gets on the end of the White kick. The previous best was 13. White's 13 against Port in round 5. So White running into some very good form. Meantime, Jeff White.
Gee, that's unusually. He's kicked the ball backwards 30 metres, but still, at least they've changed direction. See if it works for them.
Rigoni, Woden, White once more from 60 metres out. Pretty good plan, that one. Off hands. Leckers getting back just in the nick of time and a behind.
Well, you don't see that too often, do you? He's just kicked the ball 25 metres backwards. Farmer admittedly was enabled that next Melbourne player to direct the ball into the centre square, but
I'd like to see them do it twice.
Unusual.
2 of those back-to-back, Lee, would be something,
that
wouldn't
would
it?
be something.
Saw Chapman there on the interchange bench along with Hassel, Crode and Trelevin. So the Hawks might have to work overtime. This has been a great start by Melbourne. 25-point lead. Crawford, so good last week on James Hird. Pumps the ball back towards the centre wing position, and Harford comes out and takes the mark. So they've got to generate something midfield, get the ball quickly into their forward line. Holland, a major player, has to play well today. Melbourne again pump the ball back, this time Leckers marks across half back. Towards the centre wing, Holland, big pack of players. Crummell tries to keep the ball alive, and they'll toss it back in.
Can't really get any flow in the game at the moment. They seem to be, Jimmy Steins there, we see Hawthorn, when they're going to their half-forward line, it seems to be going to a high-marking contest, whereas Melbourne have been able to flow the ball through the front of the centre square. So at Waverley, when the ground is just a little bit slippy, ball a little bit damp, very hard to mark.
Salmon with his height down to Taylor, up towards centre half-forward, but again, Febey across half-back. He's playing a great opening quarter, looking for Gergic, one of the young guns for Melbourne. They're talking about a 3-year contract worth about $300,000. Just 19 years of age. Here's Salmon. Pumps the ball wide. And finds Lord. So a good transfer of play. Now they've got the runners. Kapler. A beautiful kick this time. Dunstall caught underneath the ball. Ingerson. Dunstall kicks it off the ground. Didn't get much distance. Shanahan will be very happy to fumble and take it over the line.
Well, this game is only half a quarter old, and already you've seen the ball kicked to Dunstall in a 2 Melbourne 1 Hawthorn contest. There's not going to be no percentage in Hawthorn. They've got to use the free man if there is someone double teaming Dunstall.
Boundary throw in. Seacamp did very well. Ingerson falling to the ground, gets it away. Uze hurriedly through half back. It bounces out towards the wing. Bishop towards half forward. Ill directed though. Woods. Graham. Salmon loops it over the top into no man's land. Woden came at it hard, read it well, read it best. Comes away from the wing towards half forward with his kick. Graham likewise. Was the tackle too high on McDonald? Yes, says the umpire. That was marginal. McDonald's got the free. McDonald inside the centre square. Changes his mind. Comes out towards right half forward. Lyon almost the mark. Coming through was Matthew Febey. On the ground goes back to Lyon, who's kicked 2 already. Lays it off, intended for Farmer. Good talking by Travis Johnston. As Farmer was running back, he had to be talked into it. He was. He's taken this mark about 25 metres out.
Yeah, it was just a quick kick, and he just had a look. He almost went off Jeff Farmer. You're never quite sure what he's going to do. He's a lively player, but he can do the unexpected and the unpredictable. But the Lyon-Farmer full forward line combination has been very good in this first part of the game.
Back after tearing a hamstring against Collingwood in round 8. His second goal.
Well, Hawthorn are really going to have to do something about their half-forward line. When Farm was having that kick at goal, they had 5 players spread across their half-forward line. You've got Lloyd and you've got Holland and big guys Crummell and Dixon, and they've really got to open it up a bit. It looks too much like a big wall back there. They've got to get a bit of space to be able to run the ball through. On the other hand, Melbourne are doing exactly that, keeping their forward line open, giving their forwards plenty of space to work in.
The Demons by 31 points. Just over 8 minutes of action left in this first quarter. It's been a great start. 7th spot on the ladder at the moment. Last year the Hawks won here by 63 points. Got a great record. It accounts for nothing today. Hay from half back. Kicks to the open spaces. There's a good move now. They've got a chance. Harper traps it on the edge of the centre square. He'll be looking for Dunstall. Decides to go very short across the ground. Finds Kapler. There's a thumping kick. Must be too far out to score. Dunstall on the lead. It's been ignored. Kapler kicks the ball long, so it's a chance for Holland. Couldn't get his hands quite onto the ball. He's got Ingerson the beat. Goes to ground. Needed support. Uze caught. Great tackle by Harford. They're going to ball it up.
Yes, it may have been a holding the ball back in April, KB, but certainly not in June. And fair enough, he only had a step or two and the tackle was laid. I think ball up is the correct decision on those.
So Kapler coming off for Hawthorn. Crummell. Again, Febey takes the ball away. This is Stephen. Kicks the ball back towards the half-back line, and Crawford marks. He's got the job today. He's got Hopgood to beat, who's been picking him up. Harford, the kick wasn't spot on. Robran, outside 50 goes short and finds the big fish.
They are
so
blocking up
Salmon,
that 50, KB, aren't they, Melbourne? All the players are back between Salmon and the goal. No space at all.
Very crowded Hawthorn forward line. Salmon goes wide. Holland again was the target, but they don't have a crummer at ground level. Pounced on by Farmer. He's kicked a couple already. He's dangerous, the Wizard. Runs to centre wing, pops it short to Garry Lyon and keeps running. The Wizard, he's got it. He's going to take him on. Runs to 50, great play. This could go through, but bounces. It's a goal. Oh. Sensational play. Jeffrey Farmer,
goal of
magnificent.
That was pretty exceptional play, wasn't it? And we see what happens when a forward line gets crowded. The Hawthorn forward line was completely blocked up. And when Melbourne won possession, well, they got all the space to run into. Farmer started on half-back. Was the old 1-2, the receive. Oh, I just don't know whether he really wanted to take off, but he was going to make sure he couldn't get caught. The big long torpedo. That was just a terrific bit of play.
Well, regardless of what may happen in the future, I think, gentlemen, we've just seen the goal of the year. That was magnificent by Jeff Farmer.
The only person unhappy with that will be Shane Woden, his teammate.
That's true. Away comes Leckers, wide. Chick was up, couldn't complete the mark. Uze flicks it away. Hopgood runs forward of the wing, kicks it down towards the attacking 50. Close to the boundary line. Graham tracks it across, and out she goes.
Dennis, just a quick one from down on the boundary. Look, it's very embarrassing from a point of view of Hawthorn supporters. The Hawthorn players just aren't at their numbers aren't at the ball. They're not lifting their knees. They're not running hard. They just look very woeful, and obviously it reflects on the scoreboard. So Ken Judge has got to make some pretty big moves, or even get into their heads at quarter time and make a big difference.
Gergic dragged down. Hay played it pretty well. Was that in the back? It could have been. Leoncelli will get a free kick.
Well, I thought that ruck contest, offensively the free kick was played, but Salmon's basically hit the ball towards the Melbourne goal where there was all the space, and Gergic, of course, ran onto the ball. I'm not quite sure whether that was the type of direction that the ball should have been hit, but here it was just the over-aggressive tackle then by Taylor from behind. Rodoni it was, or Leoncelli I should say, was the player who fell forward, and Taylor straight into his back.
I think we need a camera down at the main gates to see when the Hawthorn bus arrives. There's Leoncelli from 20 metres out. Another goal. How about this start?
It's been most unlike Hawthorn, Lee, because this year, even though they've gone through a couple of bad patches, they've always been very competitive and hard at the ball. But what Russell Morris said before is very true. They are second to the ball.
Well, that's a little bit the case. I just reckon it's the respective forward lines. It's interesting. The inside 50s. Hawthorn have been in 9 times. Melbourne have been in 10. But Melbourne have kicked 7 goals.
Just over 5 minutes left in this opening quarter. 7-2-44 to 1 behind. So the Demons playing magnificent football. Travis Johnston deep inside 50 again. Danger here for Hawthorn. Gergic couldn't quite get his hands on the ball. Taken by McDonald, dispossessed. Strong play by Woods, kicks the ball off the ground. Still inside 50, under pressure. Taylor gets the ball back out wide. Leckers tries to set it up, finds Lord. He's on centre wing, looking for Holland out in front. Hard to take a mark. Ingerson's been very close. He's got to push.
Forward of the ball, we're 60 metres, probably 80 metres from goal, and Woden is standing in between the kick and Jason Dunstall. Melbourne are just making sure Dunstall doesn't get any free balls.
This ball favours Chick, couldn't take it on the third grab. Lord, the crummer, around the corner. This could bounce. This could bounce, hits the post.
Where's Russell?
I'm on the wing now, Dennis, but I did see it hit the post.
Never stopped us, Russ.
It's funny, last week they're claiming, the Hawthorn players, that there was a red mark on the post, but they were using a yellow footy. What if that red footy left a yellow mark?
Don't get technical. There's Ward to bring it in. Ken Judge will be practicing his West Coast Western Bulldog speech about now, I think. Ingerson dropped the mark, was paid a free kick, plays on immediately. Hopgood's away, running off half-back through the centre square. Probing kick inside the 50. Gergic missed it. Loose ball at the back. Hawthorn leading the race. Robran picked it up pretty well. Feeds it back. Deep in the pocket, Hassel. Hassel missed the target. Leoncelli still going for Melbourne. He's over the ball. McCabe over him. Holding the ball's the call. Well, he would have been hard-pressed to get that one out, I think. He did drag it back in, though.
Well, we saw the Bulldogs start with an 8-goal quarter against the West Coast Eagles, and West Coast coming back with another 8-goal quarter. It's themselves in that second term. So it looks like the Hawks will have to do something similar today. Garry Lyon was caught, picked up by Lord, tries to set up, still on the front edge of the centre square. Graham goes short. Here he is. The great man's got it.
Well, I'll make a statement now. For Hawthorn to win, he has to kick about 10, because every attack is directed at Dunstall. None of their subsidiary forwards are really making themselves target. they're all up building a brick wall across centre forward, and Melbourne are just going to double team Dunstall. It's going to really be a tough day for him to kick the numbers he's going to have to kick.
Well, he's very accurate this year, 45-13, and that's why straight through the centre for Jason Dunstall.
Yes, it's interesting, KB. Melbourne are just dropping Shane Wogan back as a player, basically in between the goal square, the 50-metre mark, and Daniel Harford is now his direct opponent. Harford is going upfield, but Wogan just stays back. They've just obviously said they've kicked 60% of Hawthorn score the last 3 weeks, Dunstall. I think Melbourne's policy is just stop Dunstall.
Demons on top by 36 points. White knocks it goalward. Down went Rigoni. Hopgood sockets it off the ground out towards left half forward. McDonald leads in the race. Ward's in close attendance. McDonald did well. Brushes aside a tackler. Kicks inside the 50. Farmer again dropped it. Goes after it. He's already got 3. Farmer. And number 3's got him. Hay gets the free kick. Hay lays it off. Hassel out of the back pocket. Holland deep in defence. Nobody near him. Holland's away. Has had 1 bounce and his second. Not the most convincing bounces we've seen. He's learnt that. Touches it down. Running up towards the wing. Rather tired kick towards half forward. Great mark in front by White. That was a good grab.
Pretty good, Holland. Then I think the first bounce was his right hand. That was a bad one. He went left hand second time, and that was worse.
And then touched it on the ground.
Touched it on the ground. He's done all 3.
Ingerson, meantime, coming away from half-back for Melbourne. He learnt the lesson too. Touches it down a couple of times. Nobody at home for the Demons. Hay has it. Inside his own defensive 50. Man on towards the wing. He goes in that direction. It's Crummell. Marks just inside the boundary line.
So the time clock, just under 2 minutes left. Hawks need another goal. Robin breaks the tackle. Goes short to Dunstall. No doubt, Lee.
It's a one-man forward line.
One-man forward line.
One-man forward line. I think just at the moment, Paul Salmon is actually going to have a spell in the forward line, and I think Nick Holland might be having a run up the field. But, gee, every time Hawthorn come forward, you know who they're going to aim at.
So for Hawthorn's sake, let's hope Dunstall has his kicking boot on today. 45 metres out. Bangs it through.
Yes, it's interesting approach. The last night's game between Essendon and Schwarz reminded me a bit like this. The Swans were going to lock it all the time. Essendon just had a multitude of forwards revolving around the forward line. And the same thing's happened today. Melbourne have got all the forwards just revolving and rotating around the forward line, whereas Hawthorn have got the conventional full forward, and every attack is going through Jason Dunstall.
Jason Dunstall, 47 goals for the season, including 28 in the month of May. He's in rare form, but his side is down by 30 points. Salmon knocks it down to Tallis, claimed immediately and dragged down by Leoncelli. So a ball up alongside the centre circle. Inside the last minute of the opening term. Salmon and White. Salmon slaps it wide, and we'll get a free kick in any case. Paul Salmon. Man on inside the 50. Didn't spot him. Comes across the ground instead. Aaron Lord has it. Lord. Just forward of the wing. Goes back to Salmon. Feigns the hand pass to Crawford. Now he kicks for space inside the 50. Dixon offering the lead. Ward did well to fist it away. Bishop carries it towards the line and across.
He did well, didn't he, Ward? Dixon had about, what were you to say, maybe a 50-50 chance to mark the ball, but Ward just curled the arm over the top, round the body to effect the spoil.
Demons by 30 points. The lead of Dunstall. Salmon just didn't quite see it was on. Got away from Shanahan. Here's Hay, impressive young player. Finds the running Graham as the siren sounds to end a very good quarter for Melbourne. Great opening turn by Melbourne. 44 plays 14, a 30-point lead, and that man on screen has booted 3 goals, Jeff Farmer. and quite possibly the goal of the year.
He is a quick player, isn't he, Farm? He's exciting. 3 goals in the first quarter. I think Jason Dunstall has found it pretty frustrating quarter. There wasn't a lot of space to move. They got the ball forward enough, Hawthorn, but on the rebound, Melbourne had all their space forward and had the rotating forward line to kick 7 goals. Good quarter.
Second term, Melbourne. And Hawthorn with the job in front of them to try and rein them in. 7-2 to 2-2. Demons lead. Salmon goes up and wins it decisively. It's straight down to a Melbourne player. That's Leoncelli. He boots it towards half forward. In front was McDonald. Falling to the ground, Robran. Gergich gets it away. Hurriedly, Rigoni. The mark is held by Johnston. Inside the 50. He'll kick from outside. Number 1 draft pick last season.
With patience, the Hawthorn players are all got back and they're blocking the zones now, where Johnson has to think his way through here.
Johnston goes for distance, puts it right up towards the line, knocked away by Hassel. He's got the job on Farmer. Down in front, Taylor kicks towards the outer side wing. Johnston going across. Stephen Febey, awkward bounce, tried to smother it. Lord kicking towards half forward for the Hawks. Up comes Ingerson, knocked away by Crummell and across the boundary line.
44 plays, 14. Crummell on screen. Part of the half forward line for the Hawks. They had a lot of trouble in that first quarter, winning possessions. Jason Dunstall, their only goal kicker with 2. Holland doing the ruck work against Ingerson. Crawford, such an important player today for Hawthorn.
It was interesting, KB, as that boundary throw was taking place on that outer wing, Jeff White and Paul Salmon were basically in midfield. White took off into his forward line and Salmon took off into Hawthorn's forward line, and it was really a bit of rushing and let who got possession of the ball. As it is, obviously another boundary throw in resulted.
I can see now, Lee, that White was going back picking up Salmon, but now that Melbourne's got the ball, he's off. So Hopgood goes short, finds Rigoni. So the man from Myrtleford kicks the ball long, and there's White.
Yes, that was
does that well.
Yeah, well, he did. As soon as Melbourne looked like getting possession on that far wing, he just took off almost from the back of the centre square. So he's ran really 150 metres forward. Dixon tried to cover for Salmon, who had left 50 metres behind. But when White had the sit, the third man up on that marking contest, he really, his leap and his height, he was always a pretty good chance to take it, as he did.
But terrific play, the fact that he was prepared to run from the half-back line when Melbourne had the ball and ran very hard down. He must have covered a good 80 to 90 metres and should kick a goal from directly in front. Be a great start to this second term for Melbourne. He's popped it through.
Yes, I reckon that's his real value, Jeff White, as a goal-kicking ruckman. The Corey McKernans, the Peter Everts, the ruckman who can actually run around midfield, do the normal ruck duties, but then can get into the forward line and be a goal kicker that maybe can kick that 30-odd goals in a year, and I think White is certainly capable of that. He showed it just then. Got the inclination and the ability.
I really get the feeling the die is cast for Jim Stynes, and it's White. There goes Johnston, dragged down. Lord feeds it off. Robran falling to the ground. McCabe slides in. Held to him. And a bounce. Yeah, awkward situation. Jim Stynes, one of the greats of the Melbourne Football Club, sitting watching, and I think White needs to be on the ball. Great leap, so mobile, so agile. Beaten this time by Salmon. Lord controls it pretty well. Hand passes back towards Melbourne's goal. Leoncelli on the burst. Kicks it down towards half forward. Uncontested. McDonald missed it. Schwarz falling to the ground. Gives it away towards Hopgood. Some indecision. Now Hopgood's got the ball facing his own goal. Squares it. Gergich in space. He's about 65 metres out. Youngster of great promise. Play on's the call. Well, no one knows what's going on out there. The umpire indicated play on, didn't he?
He indicated play on and went back.
Changed his mind.
Could have been anything, couldn't it?
Gergich down towards the pocket. Courageous attempt at the mark there by McCabe. Goes after the ball again. Feeds it off. This is Lord under pressure. Slipped a couple of tackles. Hassel Out of the back pocket for the Hawks.
Just pumps the ball long. Back towards the edge of the square, and there's a good mark taken by Ward. A rookie at the start of the year, came onto the senior list, replacing Brett Lovett. Goes short, out in front is Schwarz. Started on the interchange bench, along with Jimmy Steins. Pretty celebrated interchange bench, but Schwarz has been out of form. Lead.
He has been, yes, hasn't been able to get the ball. This is a good confidence booster for him, and despite White really doing the job on the ruck, and I think we've got a blood rule taking place. You can imagine Jimmy Steins, a fresh Jimmy Steins in the latter part of the game, with Paul Salmon having rucked all day. It's going to be a tough day for the big Hawthorn ruckman.
Also, Lee Ben Dixon off for Justin Crawford, looking for a bit of zip. That's what the change was.
All right.
So Schwarz going for a confidence builder. It's a long bomb. He's missed.
KB, you were talking about, as this points registered, you're talking about Jim Steins sitting on the bench. I don't think he'd be too displeased with having this 4 on the interchange now. It's prolonging his career, and he loves his footy so much. It'll allow Neil Danaher to at least continue playing Steins, maybe for another season or two, and playing him off the bench would be sensational.
I think
for the
you're
Melbourne
right, Russell. That 4th interchange player really has put the odds in favour of playing a second specialist ruckman.
Demons by 37 points. Graham also started on the bench, but after Garry Lyon kicked 2 goals in the first quarter, was summoned onto the field, finds Taylor. Still inside the defensive 50. Hawthorn looking for the loose player and finds it in Hassel.
Is it right half back, goes in short to Salmon. And about 20 metres, Salmon off his step, wide towards the wing. This is Leckis. Leckis at the interchange gates to Tallis. They're working it forward. Now Crawford slides past Tallis hard. He's got the ball. He's had a bounce. He's 65 metres out. Goes towards the pocket, and Dunst a loose ball at the back. Can Holland keep it in close to the behind post? Holland is still going. Snaps it across the body. Wayward kick out of bounds on the full in the opposite pocket. Did the hard work.
Got to take those half chances, don't they, Hawthorn? They're too far behind to be able to be wasteful, and he worked it okay, didn't he? He got that 4 metres inside, so it wasn't that difficult a left foot snap, but a mile offline.
51-14. Adam Uze bounces off the chest of Seacamp. Now he's got some work to do. Feeds it wide towards the pocket. Hopgood under pressure, but the umpire has blown the whistle. Melbourne free. It's coming back to be taken by Marcus Seacamp. Now, did he pay the mark there? He may have. Quick on the whistle. Ragoni's got it up towards centre half back. Guy Ragoni lays it off. Uze kicking it up towards the wing, but intended for Lyon. It fell well short. Diving was Holland. Lyon ambled in to pick it up. Hand passed across to Ingerson. Ingerson goes to half forward and Farmer. He's been the live wire. He's got 3 already. Gets by Johnny Hassel. Kicks inside the 50. Clever kick too. McDonald goes back and marks hard against the boundary line. Looks to the middle. Now hangs on. Now he wants to go for space, and Lyon goes in, met by Leckis. Ricocheted off the defender. Here's Farmer. Leckis dived across the boot under pressure. Leckis kicked it out of there, and as a result, McDonald's taken the mark. Only 30 metres out, sharp angle, but he's aided by the fact he's a left footer.
They're just under siege, aren't they, Hawthorn? It seems like whenever they've got the ball, they're really under pressure to try and do something with it. Whereas Melbourne just seem to be able to set play up that bit better.
Leckis did well to kick it, but it didn't work out so well. Now McDonald has kicked, and kicked truly, I fancy. It's a goal.
Yes, they're just making the most of their chances. It's really, he has a difficult shot from an angle. McDonald kicks the goal. Holland has a bit of a chance down the other end, and he kicks it out of bounds on the full. That really is the story of the game, just making the most of their opportunities. Melbourne just looking a lot more precise in their finishing in their forward 50.
(9-3-57) Melbourne. The Hawks 2-2-14. Just over 13 minutes left in this second quarter. And we were thinking that maybe Hawthorn early in this second term could come back, but they're still under a lot of pressure. It seems like they're only winning the ball when they've been able to chip the ball around. They haven't been able to win any contests, and certainly at the fall of the ball, Melbourne have been winning out there. Salmon gives the ball out towards Taylor, who's all tied up by Ragoni. and also Schwarz.
I'm wondering whether Salmon just has to use his height in the ruckwick and try and knock the thing forward. He's just trying to direct the ball backwards, and when the ball particularly a bit slippery, all of a sudden the opposition rushing in their direction. I think he just has to maybe get it forward, though. White did exactly that just then.
Taylor under pressure. Kicks the ball very high. Coming in hard was Hay. Got his hands on the ball. Salmon weaving, all tied up that time by Leoncelli. Dispossessed. Rigoni's hand pass didn't hit Gurgic. White goes to ground under pressure. Taylor, the tackler, too high for mine. The free kick will go to Jeff White inside the centre square. The danger man will be Farmer. He's already kicked 3. Here's Garry Lyon on the lead. Out in front of Graham.
Yes, he just pushed off Graham, came into space, and White. He's got good kicking skills, White. He certainly, when he's got the ball, can set up teammates. That really was a beautiful 40-metre drop punt pass out into Lyon's. Lyon was able to mark the ball without breaking stride, gives the defenders no chance.
212-game veteran going for his 3rd goal. Right on 50. He has split the centre. Right on the line. I reckon he's got it.
Yes, and it really is. Jeff White is having a real influence on the game. Just that mobility around the middle of the field is troubling Paul Salmon. Salmon's getting his hands on the ball and even at ground level as well, but can't break clear. And the kick to Lyon was a good one. And Lyon, a very accurate finish from 45 metres.
Garry Lyon, 5 marks, 7 possessions, 3 goals. Back in the middle, McCabe sends Hawthorn down towards their half-forward line. Metres in the clear is Harford. Still Harford, lays it off. Holland, about 40 metres from goal now. Has he got the accuracy? A quick reply, albeit a belated one.
Yes, that's the first time that Harford, who is actually the opponent of Woden, I've said a few times how Woden is just going back and standing basically 15 metres in front of Dunstall. Harford is drifting wide. First time from that centre bounce, the ball went out to Harford in the 2-on-1. He thought his way through, set Holland up. Hasn't been able to mark the ball today, Holland, and that's what Hawthorn need, a half forward who can mark the ball across that line.
Holland's first goal today. He's kicked 14 for the season. They drag it back to 43 points. Salmon. It's going to be a big day. Steins, we saw before on the interchange bench. He's just itching to get into the action. Salmon shakes his head. So the young gun for Melbourne kicks the ball wide. Again, this is a beautiful kick. Looking for McDonald. McCabe did very well to get a hand to the ball and backs up to Woods under pressure. As they fire it off, finds Crawford across the half-back line. Kicks the ball down towards the edge of the centre square. Hitting the ball hard was Crummell. Then kicks it off the ground to the half-forward line. Chick, bowled over by Uze. Clever work game by Rigoni. Well backed up by Uze. Fresh air shot, Harford. Great tackling by Leoncelli. Chick taps the ball out. Melbourne tough in the clinches, taken away by Crawford. Under pressure, Hawthorn. Again, a kick around the corner out wide. Seacamp perched in front. Takes it in front of Crummell.
Marcus Seacamp, reported last time these two sides met. Gets it across to Rigoni. Rigoni down towards half forward and Lyon. Off hands Lekis. This is Crawford. Looping hand pass. Robran had to wait. Lyon came in hard, knocked it away. This is Hopgood. Got him in a hammerlock.
Another backward kick by Melbourne. That one's lost 30 metres.
Goes down towards the boundary. Escorted across by Stephen Febey.
That was amazing. Well, it was better than holding the ball, I guess, from Hopgood's point of view, but he did lose.
He was under duress.
They're minus 50 metres at the moment, Melbourne, for the game.
That was close to a submission hole.
Lee, I think Melbourne Footy Club have been instructed by Neil Danaher to just keep the ball moving, as we see.
Yeah.
If you keep it moving along, there's a big chance to score.
Schwarz breaks free. Ward missed it. Socket off the ground by Trelevin. Here's a chance now for Crawford right on the 50. Steve Febey brought him down, though affected the kick. Seacamp lays it off. Leoncelli, who's been pretty good, deep in his own defensive area. High floater back towards half-back. Ward went back, touched it. That was enough. And across the boundary line. 63-20. Under 10 minutes to half-time. A man with problems. Hit a German in the foreground. White, who's been so good, beaten this time by Salmon, hooked it down behind. Uze didn't have the ball. Chick gets to his knees. Across it comes to Lord. Shakes free once. Tries a second time. Chick upended. Gathered by Johnston. Kicks it across the goal face. Woden goes back held. He'll get a free kick. Shane Woden in the back pocket for Melbourne. So good last week with 30 possessions against the Crows. Had the job initially on Darren Jarman. He's played on some good ones lately. Buckley, Hurd. Goes very short. Ingerson. 43-20. Melbourne in control.
Loose player again is Hopgood. Marks in front of Salmon. Still inside the defensive 50. This is possession number 9 for Hopgood. Taking his time too. The Hawthorn fans want the umpire to hurry him up. So he kicks the ball long. Just to a big pack of players, and Robin goes up and takes a good grab. Jeff White was in two minds whether to go for that mark, taken this time by Trelevin. Come off the interchange bench, can pick up a lot of possessions. A former Sandover medalist, Melbourne, taken by Farmer. Pumps the ball back inside 50. Coming out was McDonald, did well. Forces the contest. Crawford goes to ground. McDonald, magnificent play. Running into the open goal. Runs to 30, wants to draw a player. Does so to Schwarz. Great play, Melbourne.
Well, yes, that contest at half-back wasn't it critical there? When Crawford got possession of the ball, he went to feed it backwards and just did a cut. Let's see when he picks it up what Crawford does. No, maybe he just fumbled it, but I think he just had to try and get the ball running in Hawthorn's direction and really didn't change the direction of the ball, and then really good play by McDonald to take off with the ball, and once he dropped the chasers off, certain goal resulted.
How about this scoreline? 11-3. Plays 3-2. Alex McDonald very busy on the forward line. 8 possessions. Rigoni hurriedly down towards half foot. How about that? Arm wrestle while the ball was in flight. Schwarz goes off the deck like a penalty taker. It ricochets back towards Leckers under pressure. Robran gets it away. Hassel stumps it across to Graham, and Graham comes in short to Trelevin. Trelevin's got the ball, puts it up towards the wing, taken by Salmon. Inside to Crawford. Febey got him. Did he have the ball? Not according to the umpire. Crawford will take the free. Said Alex McDonald. Anthony, of course, out there having the good afternoon. Both of them having good seasons. Meantime, Taylor towards the pocket, and Dunstall. That's very wide. Dunstall, the ball plugged like it had been sent down there with a wedge. It stayed inside the boundary line, but Dunstall looking for support, couldn't find it. It's out of bounds. The side is down by 49 points.
I wonder if there's a reason why Dunstall's got a white knee bandage on his left knee and a black one on his right knee. I wonder if there's a reason for that.
White against Holland at ground level, half it. Tried to feed it off, looking for Lord. Squeezed up on the boundary line. Gets it back. Here's young Crow, goes short and finds Nick Holland.
To test his distance, Nick Holland with a ball. There they are. See a white on the left knee, black on the right knee. I wonder if they're different types of bandages, or it just doesn't want to be too visible on either.
Got no answer for that, Luke.
No, can't help.
That's a mystery. Nick Holland kicked the goal in this quarter, and this will test him right on 50. The distance is there.
Good finish.
And he's got it. So a terrific kick there by Nick Holland.
Yes, well, they're scoring gradually now, Hawthorn, for a couple of goals in this quarter, but Melbourne has still got the most dangerous looking forward area. At least that was good use of the ball, Crow, to find a spare Hawthorn player to have a set shot at goal, but really they're all over the place, Hawthorn, at the moment. Really a few players in the midfield have to take control.
Demons lead by 43 points. Here's Rigoni out of the middle. Feeds it wide into the path of Farmer. Farmer arches the back, gets away. Terrific stuff. Runs to the 50. Bacon square, trying to bend it back. Just missed.
Well, I think he's trying to make a certainty of that goal of the year. What do you think? That was a pretty exceptional effort. I mean, he was under siege. 3 Hawthorn players had him covered, but he backed out, one side step, a little bit of acceleration. All of a sudden, he's clear.
Matthew Febey waiting to come back. Here's Hay, recruited from East Fremantle. Up towards the wing, coming back. Farmer did brilliantly. Not only got in the contest, almost took the mark, and that would be tough to call it against him. And they haven't.
Dennis, I think one of the most disappointing aspects from Hawthorn point of view is the ease that Melbourne are doing these things. Like Farmer just slipped around 2 or 3 players easily. McDonald slipped through the Tony Woods tackle for that goal earlier, and that's a disappointing aspect of Hawthorn's game.
Said with some feeling, Russ. Trelevin up towards the wing, taken by Chick. How's that by Woden? Got him front on. Chick will get the free, but Woden fierce.
And White being interchanged, and Stein's on for a run as we speak.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4.
Somebody can count. There's Salmon from the wing, inside the 50. Up goes Holland. In about the same spot he kicked the last goal from. Maybe a little further out. He's got 2 of the 4. Important kick, this one. Nick Holland. Been trying hard. 4 marks, 7 possessions. Kicks from 55. Has it got the carry? Yes, it has, but wide of the mark, out of bounds on the full. It struck the behind post.
And Jeff Farmer's just come off on interchange. I'm sure Russell will check with us quickly whether he's just off for a spell or whether has got an injury problem.
And Craig Smoker has come on for Melbourne. Jimmy Steins. So Jimmy Steins, interesting in Lee with his ability to get around the ground like a giant ruck rover, whether he'll try and run Paul Salmon off his legs as well. So Steins from the back pocket kicks the ball wide, pushed under the ball with Salmon. The free kick is going to Ingerson. Look at Nick Holland saying a few words as well. He was just indicating the push out. Ingerson keen to play it off, feeds it off to Hopgood, who's quick. Plenty of run from halfback, goes his full distance, kicks the ball down and out in front again. Is Schwarz. So his confidence is soaring. Kicks down, looking for Garry Lyon in front. Won't get it on the second grab. It was good play by Graham, then kicks it off the ground. Virtually nearly out of the hands of Jimmy Steins, and they'll toss it back in.
And it was the one Jimmy Steins who actually kicked the ball out from the point post. So he's run, best part 180 metres, Steins, with the flow of the ball, and that's what he'll be trying to do now. He'll be just up and down the ground all over the place. 65
metres out from Melbourne's goal. Ball down from Salmon to Taylor. Floats the kick forward. Uze gets support that time from Johnston. Edge of the centre square. Tackled by Chapman. Loose ball. Hands and knees. McDonald. Hawthorn now may have gone up a cog. Lord on the half forward line. Dodging and weaving. Hurried kick around the corner. Ingerson chips back and takes it.
Deep in his own defensive area. Goes out wide. This is Stephen Febey. He's at right half back. Melbourne up by 44 points. 3.5 minutes out from half time.
Just a quick one, Dennis. Jeff Farmer, bad news. He's suffering from a bad case of leather poisoning. But no, he seems to be okay. Just got a bit of back spasm. They're working on his lower back, keeping it warm, and also his hamstring. So I don't think there's too much of a problem. Just getting too many kicks.
Steins the mark on the outer side. As of course Farmer coming back off a hamstring injury. Down towards half forward. Smoker. Lively customer. Now he's away. Smoker spears the pass in short. Intended for Lyon. Getting across in front was Crawford. Shane Crawford wants to go, and he does. Kicks it out towards the back pocket. Trelevin wants his left side. He's got a bit of a problem there. Trelevin goes with the right eventually. Compromised. Up towards Holland. Knocked away by Ward. Across the boundary line he goes.
Hasn't a lot of the ball, Ward, but again, another very effective sprawl. A couple of times there. Hawthorn players, we see Farmer probably having the lower back mobilised so that this hamstring problem he suffered is less likely to reoccur.
It'll be a free kick to Holland. Jurgic into his back. Trelevin pops it over. Hay in his own defensive 50. Jonathan Hay. Farmer already with 3 goals. He's been terrific today. Hope we see him back. Now Taylor Last time these two sides played, he had 31 possessions. Round 13 last season. For 11 now. Hawthorn taking a long time to move it forward. Holland claims a mark. Play on's the call. Holland at half back, in trouble. Tries to get it across to Crawford. There's a whistle. Holland will get a free held without it. Well, he plays on wide of the mark, but goes to Justin Crawford. Referee's rules down there at the moment. Long kick through the centre square. Steins did brilliantly. Just creeps ahead of the mark, flirting with the idea of playing on.
So Jimmy Steins from the back edge of the centre square again kicks the ball wide, finds Seacamp, runs through the centre square, pops it up. Chance for McDonald. He's got it.
He's played well, hasn't he, McDonald?
Been dangerous down there. Doesn't usually play forward of the centre. McDonald usually plays on ball, sometimes floating back from defence, but been a very dangerous player down there. He's kept Tony Woods off the bit for the majority of this first half.
It would be a confidence booster, though, seeing your name on the ball, wouldn't it?
He's kicked 2 goals. He's directly in front. He's now kicked 3.
Well, yes, it's all one-way traffic, isn't it? Hawthorn have had a couple of little bursts. McKay back on for Hasselhoff, but Jimmy Steins has already had 3 possessions in his short time on the field, and again, really was anyone's ball, but Woods just didn't quite judge the ball. McDonald was the one for one grab, second grab on the way down. Good accurate kick.
Anthony McDonald has booted 3 goals. Powerful performance this by the Demons. Steins up, but interfered with Salmon. Took him high. Jimmy pleads his case. Nothing doing. The margin is 50 points. A minute till half-time. Salmon plays on to Kapler. Haven't seen a lot of him. Long kick inside the 50. Harford goes up and plucks it. Daniel Harford. Dunstall goes to the pocket. That's ignored. Not bad policy either. Ingerson goes back, though. Somebody's got to get back. Ingerson, uncontested. Uze. And this Hawthorn forward line simply not working at the present time. The ball comes out towards the boundary line. Steins had it covered.
They play their percentages exceptionally well, the Melbourne defence. They really just block the centre corridor back towards the goals. They allow the space out wide and up the field, but they always seem to be blocking up the space within a kick a goal.
Johnny Hassel under the blood rule off the ground. Nothing too serious. Leoncelli liked his game. He boots it up towards the wing. Bishop's in front, worked out of it. Crawford did nicely. Look away hand pass. Robran hurriedly. Holland attacked it ferociously. Collected a teammate though in Crawford. Uze waiting at the back. Stubs it up towards the wing, and Johnston back it comes to Uze.
Who breaks the tackle, just rolled the shoulders. Lucks of fortune, lands in the arms of Matthew Febey. 75 metres out from goal. He's got Garry Lyon in his sights. Couldn't trap it. Over the top was Graham. Time clock ticking away. Siren sounds. Magnificent first half of football by Melbourne. 76 plays 26, a 50-point lead. That man on screen, Garry Lyon, has booted 3 goals. Along with Jeff Farmer, they have been so dangerous up forward.
Yeah, they've been clean and precise with their ball handling, whereas Hawthorn really... We saw that play on the half-back line where they had 3 or 4 possessions and they just couldn't make any ground forward because Melbourne had the space forward of the ball blocked up, and they're disciplined to run forward when they've got a chance, Melbourne, but to push back hard when Hawthorn have got the ball. They've played a really terrific brand of football, and 12 goals in difficult conditions is fitting reward for the way they've really dominated just the general parts of the game.
Well, not a lot, Dennis. I think only the fact that Hawthorn, to turn this around, I believe they've got to change it, to make some moves in the engine room in the midfield, because they're being cut up badly. Players like Crawford, he's getting a bit of the ball, but not a lot of players to help him. Harford, Tony Woods, who else? Richard Taylor's been quiet. So I think that's where it starts, in the guts. But obviously, they've only got that one pinpoint forward being Dunstall, but they've got to have a lot more movement in the forward line as well, because Melbourne are doing it beautifully. They're crowding their Hawthorn forward line, and they're moving the ball up very, very quickly. And guys such as Farmer and these likes are just chopping them up. Melbourne on the other side need the percentage. They're 11th on the percentage ladder, and just under 95%. They need a big score today, Dennis, because percentage, as you realise, is very important in those last few games towards the finals.
Well, we're well on the way. We've got to say that. Jeff Farmer back on the ground. We saw him just moments ago. Leoncelli and Regani, both very good players in the centre square for Melbourne. 12-4 to 4-2. White played very well, knocks it down. Farmer hacks it out of mid-air down towards centre half forward. Gergich in front, tries to knock it goalward. Run down from behind was Chick. Regani got him. McDonald, who's been very good, feeds it back to Hopgood. Hopgood gets underneath it, gave it plenty of air. Farmer again. He's been everywhere, darting into that pack. Kapler it was who booted it out towards the boundary. Tallis dragged down, but not before he got it to Taylor. Taylor's hand pass away to Robran. He's at right half back. He kicks it up towards the wing. Johnston did well. Crawford, as if he'd run into a brick wall. Well, I'm not sure that Johnston even initiated the contact.
He ran into him and he fell over, I would have thought, on first look.
Crawford again then. Drives it out wide. Holland on the lead showed great courage and great concentration. A Melbourne player coming back with the flight of the ball. I think it was Ward. But Holland just kept his eyes on the ball. Well, nothing to that, surely.
Absolutely nothing.
Johnston, you would say a clever mark and, as they say, in inverted commas, good use of the body.
Nick Holland played a terrific second quarter for the Hawks. Sets it up to Tallis.
To get their players back, KB. Look forward to the ball. It's just all Melbourne players. There's only one pair of players. Melbourne's forward to the win.
So it's forced Hawthorn to go short, half it outside of 50. Again, trying to set it up, takes it on Garry line, gets around, rockets the ball back wide to Graham. Tries a check side kick into the goal square. The high flow's got it. That's Dixon.
Well, I think we saw the player that Hawthorn need to get his hands on the ball, Daniel Harford. I think he's maybe their most creative player, and at the moment he's playing as a forward to try and draw Woden out of that slot in front of Dunstall. I don't know whether Harford should be up in the midfield. I think if he can get his hands on the ball, he can set play up, as he did then. He thought his way through from the half-forward line and eventually set Graham up. Dixon kicked the goal, but Harford in the midfield is maybe one of the things Hawthorn should do.
Ben Dixon, 15 goals for the season. That's second best to Dunstall at Hawthorn. White very high, laid it down brilliantly into the path of Leoncelli. Ambitiously tries to bounce it out of the centre. Still manages to get boot to ball. Farmer! Almost the mark. Spilt. Lyon smothered off the boot by Hassel. Hassel recovers. Feeds it off to Hay. Hay kicks it out wide, intended for Tallis. Will it stay in? Yes, it will. It sits obligingly. Tallis is away, hugging the boundary line, boots it down towards half forward, over the top, Crummel. Ward brought it to ground. Dixon lays it off. Tallis follows up. Some heavy work there from Dixon off the ball. Meantime, the kick comes in and the mark is held on the forward line by Crawford. That's Jason. He's about 65 metres from goal. Pops it over the top. And Brother Shane has taken this one about 15 metres closer to goal, but on a very tight angle.
And I think we know what Hawthorn have been talking about at half-time. Use those players that had left free when the Melbourne players sort of dropped back in that line between the full forward and the kick. And Crawford was the one out wide. Certainly he's kicking from a relatively acute angle, but at least has a shot at goal unimpeded.
Shane Crawford got it from Justin. What's he done? Behind.
Wonder KB where the Crawford just finishes well enough for a really good player. Is that really the thing that separates him? You see Farmer down the other end. He certainly gives Hassel a little bit of trouble overhead. Just didn't quite bring it down the second grab. Seacamp
gets it from Woden. Kicks through centre field. Going back and claiming the mark down there is Longmuir. The young West Australian wants to go down towards Farmer. Almost another clever mark. Bounced off his chest. Lyon, who's booted three. Hurriedly, it'll bounce in the square. Goes straight up in the air and knocked across the line by Graham. Under pressure from Farmer.
77 plays 33. Graham on screen.
It's like that little Gary Moorcroft Farmer. Even though they're small players, they don't mind jumping third up, so they're always a dangerous opponent for... He'll normally be on the ground level defender, and every now and again he'll be pretty competitive overhead.
Poor hand pass from Hassel. Finds Kapler, pumps the ball back towards centre wing. There's the big fist of White over the top. Febey takes the ball over the line. Febey brothers have had a good game. 7 possessions and 2 marks to Stephen, and 8 and 3 to Matthew. Salmon against White. The youngster wins out, gives the ball back to Ward. Tumbles it forward towards the half-forward line. Schwarz found a bit of touch also in the second term. Tries to bring it back. Does well to McDonald, who's booted 3 outside of 50. It's a long bomb. Farmer pushing and shoving. Now off hands. It's gone through for a behind, and he nearly took that lead.
He does. I must say, when there's a one-on-one marking contest between Farmer and Johnny Hassel, I think you might back Farmer on most occasions. Hassel's done well that last couple just to make sure that he couldn't mark him, but certainly the odds look like favouring Melbourne in those contests.
Farmer's had 3 half chances. Tallis knocks it across to McCabe. Back it comes to Hassel. Whips it away to McCabe. McCabe, short of half back, kicks up short of the wing. Crawford was there, had it knocked away. McCabe follows up, lays the ball into the path of Justin Crawford. He's run down from behind, though. The ball was jarred loose. Seacamp's got it. Good work by Longmuir in the chase. Good smother by Crummell there. It spills across to Uze. He kicks it directly to Tallis. Tallis at left half back for the Hawks. Men on in the middle. He spots them. Concedes a little ground. Comes back to Hay. Hay squares the ball. Running up from the pocket is Hassel. Going towards the outer side is Lord. That's the direction the kick takes. Lord goes back, takes the mark on his chest, wants to go. Lyon played it very well, grabbed the arm. Lord a bit fortunate to get away there. He did slip the tackle, kicks inside the 50, and Holland takes the mark. They were so Dunstall conscious there, blocking his path to the ball. Holland able to slip in front, and now will kick at his 3rd goal.
Well, I think they had to change of direction from one back flank through centre half back out the far wing. And when the ball came in that direction, at least it was a 2-on-2 contest. 2 Melbourne, 2 Hawthorn marking players, and Holland judged it well.
Important kick, this one. And he kicks truly.
Well, they've given themselves a little bit of a chance, haven't they, Hawthorn, with these first 2 goals of the 3rd quarter. Still a good margin to make up, but they've at least been pretty good in this first 7 minutes of the 3rd quarter. A few players have started to get their hands on the ball and just be able to get the couple of goals. Certainly they've got to stop Melbourne scoring for the next 10 minutes, but they're at least giving themselves some hope.
Three goals to Nick Holland. 6 marks and 13 possessions. So the Hawks keep chipping away. They trail 78 to 39. The Demons again into attack, crashing to the ground. Tackler was Taylor, hit it hard. Tallis is there with the arms open wide. Climbing up off the ground was young Longmuir. So they'll ball it up right on 50. There's a Hawthorn supporter. Not quite happy at the moment. Going to ground. Rigoni. Tallis weaved his way out of trouble. Kicked the ball back inside the centre square. Coming out was Holland, overruns the ball. Hopgood caught by Crawford. Looked like a one-handed throw. McDonald has been ever dangerous. Got half of the beat. Goes to ground. Dixon lends support. They've got the numbers across half-back. Taylor again goes short. Finds Crummell, rockets the ball wide. Hawthorn playing better in this 3rd term. Kicks the ball into the pocket, looking for Dunstall. Does well, keeps the ball alive. Kicked off the ground by Febey. Across the face of goals out towards the half-back flank. Kepler pushing and shoving. Looked like he was held. He's got the free.
Crowd decision, that one, you think? Certainly the crowd roared, the Hawthorn crowd in that part of the ground, and it was just soft. Yeah, well, the hand was on the jumper.
Young Longmuir just giving away that free. Goes short to Lord. He's just outside of 50.
Have a look at the Melbourne players between the kicker and the goal. They're just all back again.
So
see what Lord can do. Yeah, he has to just try, and I think that's good play. Even now, if there's another one on across the 50-metre line, this is a 50-metre kick. They're tough distances. Just see if a Hawthorn player can get clear and out the outer side. Chick is, and he'll see him.
So Crawford goes short.
I think that's good play. You've got to be patient across the 50-metre line once that flooding zone is set up, and at least this is now a 45-metre kick. Still a difficult distance, but certainly very kickable.
He's been very accurate this year, Lee. He's kicked 10 goals, 4. So he'll be kicking from right on 50. Daniel Chick got underneath the ball, so it's for the high flyers in the square. And up go the long arms of Ingerson, who plays on straight away, gives it across to Uze. So a transfer play looking for Gurgic. Good play by Hay. Got a fist to the ball and they'll toss it back in.
It's good play because this is what happens when you've got the numbers back in defence. All the space is forward of the ball, and again Melbourne looked dangerous, but Hay was able to get up and draw the ball up. If Melbourne could get running, they've got all the space forward of the ball in their own forward half.
Only 2 goals in this term so far. Hawthorn have got them both. This is Longmuir. Advantage is paid. Now it's coming back. It's going to be a free kick.
Dennis, a free kick off the ball against Johnston onto Crawford as that throw-in pushed him over.
Crawford wants to go, and he does, from about 65 metres out, centering the ball. Crummel in from the side, fingertips to it, couldn't hang on. Uze did nicely, grabs the crumb, kicks it towards the outer side. Lyon comes on a searching lead. Right there with him is Graham. Lyon cleverly gains about 25 metres. Taylor is first back, gathers the ball across half back, slips away. Short passes short of the wing. This is Graham off his step, gives it away. Woden read it very well. It was intended for Harford, and Woden's got it. Forward of left half back. Centering kick, White. Runners alongside, Seacamp running through the middle. Seacamp towards centre half forward. That's a clever kick. Well, Schwarz perhaps could have done better there. Kapler tries it again. Was he held? Not according to the umpire this time. Kapler did hand pass the ball away. He tracks it towards the boundary, and it will be thrown in. So Hawthorn making their move here. Well, that's marginal again.
David Schwarz started on the interchange bench. Found a bit of form in that second quarter. Push to the ground. There's a push in the back.
I don't know. Ruck contest free kicks always bemuse me. If one player falls over, you usually get the free kick. I'm sure we'll have another look at this. Let's just have a look whether it was just body to body. Let's see what happened. I don't know.
Got a shove. Schwarz
he took
unloads
the big
a
dive,
big bomb.
one or the other.
Just pushes it right.
I guess in those ruck contests, if you feel some contact in the back and you dive forward, well, you never know. You never know if the umpire is going to say it was a push in the back.
KB, I'm just wondering whether you realise or whether you know what Hawthorn's record is like under lights, because you just turned them on. Maybe that's the difference, because it was very, very dark, but now the lights are on and it's bathed in lamplight.
Well, they've won 8 of the past 11 games, and out here at Waverley, they've won 13 out of 15. So their record is outstanding, but it counts for nothing today. There's Melbourne. White up over the top of Salmon. An absolute ripper. What a talent. Quick to find Gurgic on the half-forward line. Farmer lurking in the goal square. He's booted 3. So the long bomb by Gurgic. Lyon stands his ground. Farmer, the high flyer. And at ground level, recovered. Oh, bang. Down goes Crawford. They've paid advantage. Gets the ball back to McCabe. Comes away from the half-back line to the edge of the square. Now there's a fight on, you can see on screen. Crawford there in the window along with Farmer, very agitated. Schwarz in front, got it.
Well, those couple of turnovers.
He's done a hamstring, I think, too.
Hamstring, the way he's holding that left leg, one would think so. And the Farmer situation on Crawford. Let's have a look at this. Oh well. I think we'll hear Mel with that one.
Well, they paid advantage. They paid advantage.
Paid advantage, that's why the play went in. But again, Hawthorn turned the ball over around midfield. Graham turned it over a few minutes ago, and then that turnover from McCabe. And on the rebound, this is set up Schwarz with the shot at goal.
Looked like he may have got a twinge in the hamstring, but he's going for his second goal, and he pops it through.
Yes, well, just the precision of the Hawthorn play out of defence. Again, the turnover is absolutely costly. McCabe didn't seem to be under pressure. Farmer off at the moment, maybe just to cool down a little. One would suspect David Schwarz. Let's see if he's had more than the twink. He's certainly staying on the ground. But on this turnover, he just had the sit Schwarz, and this was the Schwarz that we remember so well, a loop and jump and goal.
Jeff Farmer's off the ground. It seems Schwarz is coming off as well. Farmer, I think, is okay, or they're going to stretch him. And Schwarz feeling for that left hamstring immediately after he took the mark. So a bit happening in the Melbourne dugout. Bishop is on the ground. Going onto the forward line. Crawford and Farmer jousting, and the ball went directly over their head. Leoncelli tries to get it back to Febey. Melbourne irresistible once more out of the centre. The ball comes down towards the pocket. Knocked away down there by Hassel. Slides across the goal face. Smoker missed. Gergich stood up in the tackle. Gets it to Lyon. Lyon snaps. Oh, reminiscent of last week. What's the goal umpire going to do? I think it's a goal. It is. He's got 4.
Well, this last couple of minutes has blown the match apart completely now, one would think. They were really pushing there for a while, Hawthorn, but the inability to find their targets when they were going through midfield set up a couple of Melbourne goals. And this one here, Lyon, he just got a bit of the foot to the ball, but you only need a bit of the foot. 4-goal day for Garry Lyon.
There's Garry Lyon, just on screen. He's booted 4 goals. He's kicked goals in every quarter. Ward out of the centre square again. Melbourne come forward. The Hawthorn defence under a lot of pressure. Lyon can't beat Chick's tackle. Loose ball driven into the ground. Again under pressure. Dixon tackling by Ward. Smoker's in there as well. Taylor on the boundary line is dumped by Smoker.
KB, I don't think Melbourne are going to risk, or will be able to risk David Schwarz with that string, but Jeff Farmer's got a lot of problems with his legs, back-related, very, very tight through his buttocks into his legs, and that makes it difficult for him to loosen up and around that hamstring area. So he's just getting another rub down, trying to loosen that muscle area up.
Throwing 45 metres around for Melbourne's goal. That long handball, we see Matthew Febey take it over the line.
The one thing that Melbourne have been able to do in the last 12 months is really give their side a bit of pace. So Phoebe's back playing well across halfback, and guys like Hopgood and Rigoni and Leoncelli are all actually showing a bit of zip around the midfield. So they do have and Travis Johnson, a look of real speed about the two.
Salmon taken by Gergich. So danger here for Hawthorn. Great mark, Matthew Febey.
They just wanted more, don't they? That was probably a 50-50 ball in the air, wasn't it?
Yeah, he certainly wanted it coming back with the flight of it. It tests any footballer, doesn't it? But he kept his eyes on the ball, Matthew Febey, when a few other guys probably were maybe just jostling with their prospective opponents for position.
And Crawford's coming off for Hawthorn. And Jimmy Steins has come on as well.
Yeah, White's off for Melbourne.
So Febey from point-blank range kicks a goal.
Well, it is one-way traffic, and I think we mentioned earlier in the game that one of the things that was specific to Melbourne is a very low percentage. They've won 6 games, but they've only got a percentage before today of 94.9. So their ability to have a 10 or 15 goal victory is terribly important to make sure that they elevate their percentage towards the other contenders.
So Melbourne have got the last 3 goals. Shane Crawford on the phone. One down by Salmon. Down goes the umpire in the background.
But he bounced up, Dennis, didn't he? He was quickly to his feet.
Gavin Della noted for that.
Let's have a look at this.
Whoa.
Oh, I think he got knocked over, did he?
Kept watching the play though. Did you see that?
Oh, yeah. Eyes on the ball.
Kind of a good umpire. Eyes on the ball, yeah. Unfortunately, lost his whistle. There's Febey coming through the middle, then gave it away. Leckis in the road, wants to go. Lack of talking. Almost tackled as he moved off there. Ball on the outer side, found its way to Lord. Lord goes over the top to Taylor. Taylor comes back to Lord. They've seen plenty of the ball today, but it's been pretty nondescript stuff. Eventually it spills wide to Chick. Chick stood up in the tackle, gives it across to Dixon. Dixon a probing kick towards half forward. This is Crawford, dragged down, hitting the ball hard by Woden. Too slick there for Febey. Knocked it his way though. Getting back is Harford. Slid out of a tackle. Gave it up. This is Hay. They're conceding ground though. They've gone from one side of the centre square to the other. Robran pops it across to Graham. Back from a broken bone in his foot. He chips it up towards the wing. Justin Crawford has it. Little short one is on. Down towards the 50. Harford can take it and go. He can kick a goal. 45 metres out. Trying to bend it back. It's not coming back enough. It's a behind.
Melbourne by 57 points.
They do actually tend to, under pressure, Hawthorn, try and find a player backwards of the play. And I reckon under pressure, you've got to really think forward football. Every now and again, obviously, it'll work. But, gee, if it's a backward hand pass and the player who's receiving it's under pressure or it misses its target, the ball keeps running in the opposition direction.
Been so impressive today, the Demons. Under pressure now is Dixon, inside 50 for Hawthorn, tries to tie it up along with Febey, and they'll ball it up. Melbourne led by 30 points at quarter time, 50 points at half time, and now lead by 57 points with under 7 minutes of action left in this third quarter. Matthew Febey on screens, just kicked a goal. He's had 12 possessions and 4 marks. Steins beaten this time by Salmon. Dixon went in hard. Again, Febey on hands and knees. This time it's been pinched by Lord. 35 metres out, should kick a goal and bangs it through.
Well, I think we just saw an example of what we were talking about a minute or two ago about the backward hand pass. The Melbourne player on the bottom of the pack. Majority of times, the Melbourne players have just fought forward under pressure and just knocked the ball into their forward space. But here, the Melbourne player who goes to ground with the ball, is it Febey?
Yep.
Just tries to flick it backwards, and the ball, of course, got intercepted. I must say, we do see it quite often these days, but not a fan of the backward hand pass.
Aaron Lord, 15 possessions. He's kicked 1 goal. Steins, beaten by Salmon, fell at their feet. Socket off the ground by Ingerson. Going to the ground was Febey. That was Matthew. Did pretty well into the path of Ward, who sockets it down towards half forward and Gergich. Bishop didn't appear to have the ball. In the opposite direction, McDonald. He still hasn't got the ball. Socket off the ground by Chick. Knocked out of there by Tallis. Missed by Taylor. Taylor feeds it back to Robran. Robran kicks it around the outer side. Lord again, trying hard. He's on the wing. Aaron Lord. He likes the wide expanses of Waverley, kicking towards half forward. Harford controlled the half volley very well, pulls it back for Crawford, and that's a good grab under pressure. Justin Crawford, 60 metres out, sets it up. Dunstall on the lead, takes the mark low down.
It really has had to be out on the lead, hasn't it? Because Shanahan in anything like a body-to-body contest has more than held his own today. Dunstall's only had 2 kicks. And they've all basically been on the lead in that fashion.
Got 9 last week against the Bombers and kicked very well. Accuracy has been the cornerstone of his football recently. This is a very tough attempt from here. His best haul against the Demons, 8 twice. And what's he done? Behind, missing to the near side. What a comeback it's been, though. A lot of people doubting his ability to get back, but his last 4 or 5 games simply vintage Dunstall. Here's Woden with his team up by 50.
His second year of AFL football. Terrific opening season last year. Jimmy Steins spent a lot of time on the interchange bench. Did well when he came on in the second quarter, puts it straight over the line, and he's been pinged.
No. I reckon he heard the voice there from the other Melbourne player.
Have a look at this, yeah. It was the boundary umpire. It was the Melbourne player, I think, Dennis. I think it was straight over.
I think so.
Aaron Lord. On centre wing, again just pops it up to Nick Holland. He's had a good game. He's booted 3 goals. It's been a lone hand across the half-forward line. Salmon has it thumped away that time by Steins. Dixon under pressure. Long raking handball, wanting a kind bounce was Crawford. Gets it back to Tallis on 50. They concede ground. Back to Crawford. Now bombs the ball long. Holland was a high flyer. Ground level, Lord. Intercepted by Shanahan. So the Melbourne defence stands up well, and the loose player's been set up wide to Febey. The race is on. Half of the chaser. Kicks to the open space. Chick should get there along first with Robran. Leckers will be happy to take this ball over the line. Well trapped by Bishop. Keeps the ball alive. Chick. Back towards the half-back flank. Crawford feeds it off to Lord. He's been picking up possessions. Kicks the ball down towards the half-forward line. They're thumped away by Leoncelli. Melbourne defence has been very, very good. And they'll toss it back in again.
Farmer stretching. 3 goals to his name. Melbourne lead by 50, 97-47.
But Neil Danaher is just wondering what to do with Farmer. First game back from a hamstring injury. I think he'd just like to get him through the game if he could, so he may spend the rest of the day on interchange.
Seacamp gets it away to Uze. Well, in fairness, Farmer could have an interesting week. The ball across half back. Up comes Lyon, dragged down by Shane Crawford. The ball's there somewhere behind the pair of them. Graham Out wide for Hay. Spins out of trouble. Nicely done. Releases the ball to Crummell. Or was it Robran? Robran bounces it up towards the wing. Lord again across to Holland. Holland kicking it down towards half forward. Seacamp's in the road. McCabe, strong tackle. Ragoni, awkward hand pass. Ward back to Ragoni. Ragoni with pace. What a revelation he's been. Guy Ragoni through midfield, kicking towards half forward. Worked under it was Longmuir. The mark is taken by Lekas. Lekas lays it off. Chick. Now Graham. Is it left half back? Graham back to Chick. Chick goes across the ground. Crawford will need to go. Bishop gets in behind him, takes the mark, flooding back to Melbourne players. Bishop, who is a long kick, we saw that last week, has no trouble kicking a goal.
Well, that was a great kick.
It was, yes. Garry Lyon was streaming back towards the goal square on his own, and Bishop basically said, oh, well, I'll have a crack at it myself. So I think he had to kick it. Otherwise, the questions may have been asked. But bring them back, changing direction from one side of the ground to the other is a valid tactic, but you've got to kick to the guy in the middle unopposed. If you kick into a contest, it is just too dangerous, and that goal was the living proof of that principle.
First goal to Bishop. And we see Jeffrey Farmer back onto the ground. Travis Johnson off Robran for Hawthorn. Kicks down towards centre half forward. And the whistle has gone. The free kick is going to Melbourne. So Febey quickly gets the ball across to Ingerson, finds Jimmy Steins, marks in front of Salmon, tries to set it up, looking for Woden. Couldn't quite take it on the half volley. Taylor's hard to get around. He's Hawthorn's leading tackler. Back to Jimmy Steins, back to Woden from the half back line. Kicks the ball long. Smoker out in front. Knocked off the ball that time by Hassel. McDonald's had a big game. He's booted 3. Gets the ball back to Gurgic. A couple of youngsters combined. On 50. Hopgood's there as well. Hassel to Crawford under a lot of pressure. Ball's pushed over.
Club-coloured gloves are they he's wearing today, Shane Crawford? Certainly look like they're gold.
And Kepler looks like he's ready to come on into the action. Chick is off. 56-point lead to Melbourne. They've dominated from the opening bounce. Leoncelli. Back to McDonald. 2 old Severians combined. This time, good smother by Lord. And they'll toss it in on 50.
Probably Hawthorn's best player, Aaron Lord. 20 possessions so far. Rain is coming down now, so virtually impossible in these conditions for Hawthorn to get back. Holland tries a drop kick. Gained about 10 metres, falling to the ground, half it back to Holland. Smothered off the boot. McDonald again working hard, close to the boundary line, kept it in under pressure, gets his kick off. It floats back towards the attacking 50. Appeared to be a push in the back. Smoker was the offending player. Farmer assisting him, has the ball on the ground. He tried to hand pass it out. Over the shoulders, the call. Well, Jeff Farmer a bit lucky there. About 60 metres out. Hawthorn player, I think, reaching in for the ball. Scotch it again. Well, he's played well, Farmer. Probably deserves a bit of luck. Does that count? Down towards full forward. Holland fisted away by Stein. Smoker in front. Crawford at close quarters. Try to get it across to Tallis. Matthew Febe's at the base of that pack. Hassel comes out backwards. Whistle. Ball up.
Dennis, you mentioned it's currently raining. It's just about to dump down in buckets. The dark clouds coming over this ground are as black as coal. So we've heard from the MCG it's bucketing down there. It's a very, very wet last quarter, I believe.
Keep your concentration up with the goal umpire.
Lyons quick kick goes to Bishop. Under pressure from Robran. 103 plays, 47. Just a few seconds left in his third term. The Demons by 56 points. They led by 50 points at half-time and 30 points at quarter-time. Jimmy Steins started on the interchange bench. Hassel gets the ball back towards Tallis, who just thumps the ball out towards 50. As the siren sounds, and Melbourne will take a big lead into the final quarter. Jeffrey Farmer just doing up his boot. Garry Lyon there on screen. Kicked another goal in that third term to take him to 4 for the game. And looks like he's moving okay too.
Yeah,
Lee.
it's actually a very optimistic game from Melbourne and Garry Lyon's point of view. 4 goals. He's been pretty serviceable down there, getting up to half forward, moving around. Certainly Hawthorn put the challenge out in the first 5-10 minutes of that third quarter. Kicked a couple of goals, but then Melbourne immediately answered with a couple. And in the latter part of that third quarter, well, Melbourne just really looked like extending the lead. And yeah, it's going to be a slog in this last quarter, but every goal is going to count.
Player throws it up to start this final term. White down into the path of Rigoni, who boots it out of mid-air towards half forward. Melbourne player appear to be held without the ball. Across half back for the Hawks. Pushing the ball along is Smoker. Graham tries to get a boot in there and succeeds and gets it across the boundary line. So that's the situation. Hawthorn in desperate trouble. In recent weeks, so competitive. Probably when you look back over their season so far, they've had a chance to win 4 or 5 games. They've been right in it in the final term, but not so today. And people taking them on trust, a lot of punters making them pretty warm favourites. Farmer goes off the ground, Bishop over the ball, slaps at Goalwood. Crawford couldn't control it. It's getting pretty slippery, very difficult down there. Hopgood dropped the ball. Leoncelli socket back in by Smoker. He's got a sense of humour. Hassel looping hand pass to Crawford. Crawford comes out wide. Gathering the bouncing ball is Lyon. He's been in very good form today. So the day for the best veterans as far as Melbourne are concerned. There's a kick at goal from Rigoni, missing to the left-hand side. Behind. Talking about those veterans, Dunstall hasn't seen a lot of the ball at one end, but he's been the target, and at the other, Lyon has seen much more of it. Likewise the target, and he's come through with 4.
This will be a long last quarter for Hawthorn. Hassel in the back pocket. They trail 104 to 47, 57 points to Melbourne, who are coming off losses to Essendon and Adelaide. There were some critics who thought maybe they were just starting to feel the pinch, and some of their younger players are under a bit of pressure, but they've answered the critics today. Uze puts the ball over the line. Got away to a magnificent start with Jeff Farmer booting 3 goals in the first quarter and Garry Lyon 2. And that set the standard for Melbourne. Bishop in the ruck, along with Crummell, pushing and shoving, and Crawford goes to ground. Trelevin started on the interchange bench. Bishop had it, lost it. Pretty slippery now. Got his body in front. Started the year as a rookie as well. So Hawthorn under pressure. Dixon struggling for the ball. Again, Uze. You can see it's going to be tough in close. Great tackle by Rigoni. So it's going to be put your body on the line here in this last quarter out at Waverley. Taken away by Gurgic. Comes away from half-back. Kicks the ball back towards 50. Gets good distance, pushing and shoving. Hopgood tried to slap the ball on. Coming through hard. Picking it up is Tallis. Across that half-back line. Kicks the ball wide. Taylor. As the rain continues to tumble down, takes the mark.
Back to Tallis. Tallis kicks it around the outer side wing. Holland, he's tried hard. Nick Holland's away. About 85 metres from goal. Pulls it back to the pocket and Dunstall. Shanahan right there. Seacamp gathers the crumbs. Heads for the boundary line.
Interesting, Dennis, KB, in the myriad of statistics we have in football, would you believe Hawthorn have had 12 more kicks, 13 more handballs, 13 more marks, and trailed by 10 goals? Just goes to show, just don't look at the statistics sheet and take too much notice. They don't count.
Salmon knocks it down. Lord tries to step away. Did pretty well in a tight situation. Crawford falling to the ground. That was Justin. Got it back to half-foot, or was it Lord? Lord who boots it towards the pocket. It's kneed away by Shanahan. He tracks it out towards the boundary. He wants it out of bounds. Not so Dunstall. Flicks it back. Febey goes in. That's Matthew. Kept alive again by Dunstall. It's right on the line. Didn't completely cross. Trelevin with the outside of the boot. Back goes Stephen Febey in torrential rain. Knocks it across the line for a behind.
Dennis, I think Hawthorn are going to make an interchange. They're bringing on El Nino. I think that's where they need help.
Well, there's a great shot. The rain tumbling down. Stephen Febey to bring the ball back into play. Goes wide, looking for Uze. Too wide. So Lord will take the free kick. 22 possessions and 6 marks, and he's booted a goal. He's been one of Hawthorn's better players. Hawks might be kicking against the tide in this last quarter. To the front of the square. Salmon was a target. Didn't quite make ground. Kicked off the ground by Harford. And slides through for a point.
He's no Darren Creswell. We saw Darren Creswell last night kick one like that Harford motion 30 metres and went through for a goal for the Swans. But really, they're low percentage, I reckon, those kicks in mid-air. You're better off to take the ball in your hands and have a quick snap with a bit of control.
Stephen Febey to bring it back in. Goes in short by Woden. Driving rain at Waverley. Uze close to the boundary line. And Melbourne in total control. Adam Uze taking plenty of time. Kicking it up towards half-back. In front, Bishop. Knocked away. Tallis. Plenty of company. Socket off the ground by Lekis. Here's Crawford about 55 metres out. Slides it across the goal face. Leaving without it was Taylor. Back he comes into the fray. Knocked it away from Stephen Febey. Diving in there is Dixon. The umpire wants it. 104 to 49. Just under 16 minutes till full time. This is a very tough day at the office for the Hawks. Their football has been lousy. And now the weather has turned lousy, giving them no chance of fighting their way back if in fact they were good enough. And on what we've seen today, they were never going to be. Febey over the ball, tries to knock it clear. Crawford goes inside the centre square, pulls it back inside the attacking 50. Seacamp did very well in the conditions. Clever mark, lays it off to Uze. Uze bounces it up towards the wing. This is Bishop in space. Bishop spears a pass in, looking for support from Ward. Slid across his chest, coming through Treleaven, across the ground, and he finds Graham.
Who goes short. He's got the loose player set up in Lord, who drops it under the conditions, understandably. Time for think music. Back to the centre square, looking for Justin Crawford. Again, they concede ground, looking for Treleaven. Thought he might have been held. Peeled for the free kick, or tied up by Smoker. And they'll ball it up.
Saw a bit of terrific team play just away from the action just then. When the ball was in Hawthorn's forward line, Mark Graham comes steaming down from defence, left Garry Lyon about 50 metres behind, and Anthony McDonald saw what was happening, left his opponent, to cover for his teammate. That's the kind of team play I think that's part of the Melbourne group at the moment, is protecting each other.
Kicked off the ground by Taylor, and it's been marked by Holland. Well, he kicked 2 goals in the second quarter and 1 in the third term. He's battled very hard today. He's taken 9 marks and had 17 possessions. And we just saw before Paul Salmon on the interchange bench, along with Chapman, also Tony Woods. He's been one of the Hawthorn's better players this year in putting Stars out of business. And today, on the interchange bench, Holland, 45 metres out, directly in front. It's holding up. Big fist away that time by Ingerson. And Melbourne has got the free kick. So it comes back to Ingerson. Short to the loose player in Seacamp. To Uze, having a tremendous season. Kicks the ball wide to space. The race is on. Bishop out in front of Crummell. Takes it well. Critter from Box Hill. Kicks the ball down. Garry Lyon looked like he was held. No free kick. So Hay, an impressive young player for Hawthorn, finds Graham. Also started on the interchange bench. So it's a transfer of play back towards centre half back to Hassel. They've got the loose player set up. Crawford rockets the ball wide to Treleaven from half back towards the half forward line. Lord. Clever play back to Holland. Quick hands. The ball just tumbles down towards the half forward line. Coming out in front is Chick. Did he get a boot to the ball? Melbourne player suggested he did. Boundary umpire says, I'll throw it back.
Melbourne by 55 points. Watch it again. Just played it against the line. Knew what he was doing. Ingerson and Holland. Holland hooks it down behind. Harford sockers it off the ground, but wide of the mark. It runs across the boundary line in front of Shanahan.
Amazing what happens in 12 months. This time last year, Hawthorn won by 63 points.
Yeah.
They were in the 8, and Melbourne were 16th. And virtually 12 months later, that was round 13. We've got Melbourne in 7th spot and Hawthorn in 14th spot.
White thumped it away. Harford claimed by Rigoni, who can tackle. Taken across the line by Crawford. Rigoni shows up again, belatedly. They've really got an appetite for this, the Demons. Down for a long time. They've taken some treatment, so they're giving a bit back today. White started so well. Directs it down towards the boundary line. Lord, little give to Taylor, and Taylor kicks a goal. Well done by Lord.
Yes, they were able to just clear the space from the boundary throw into the goal, and when the ball, we see Garry Lyon being interchanged, and when the ball was able to just go forward into that space, the Hawthorn players had the numbers, and a good finish by Taylor. And as we speak, Dunstall being interchanged as well, and Lyon both off the field.
Demons by 49 points. Dunstall having a break. Johnston got a shove that time from Trelevin. Overrunning the ball, Trelevin. Under the conditions, a good pickup. Goes short, back to Crawford. Feeds the ball off. Lord, been so good for Hawthorn today, has battled hard. Clever play by Chick, back to Chapman. Now this could slide through. Wrong side.
KB, just both coaches showing a bit of common sense at the moment, taking Garry Lyon and also Jason Dunstall off, letting them sit on the bench in these conditions. I think Ken Judge has conceded the game. I'm sure you'd agree with that. And also, obviously, with Garry on the bench. When you get over 30, KB, I'm sure you realise that you need more rest.
Kick in from Ward. Dunstall just having a word to Salmon there on the bench.
Oh, it's just coming good at 30.
Yeah, with Dunstall and Salmon off, it is, I guess, conceding the game.
Matthew Febey towards half forward. Well done by Hassel. Got a timely fist in there. This is Johnston, 51 metres out, down towards full forward. Push in the back, surely. Hopgood goes after it, kicks a goal, but it'll count for naught. In fact, it could be 50. Hopgood can't believe his misfortune, but it did seem rather blatant. Watch it again. Whoops.
Yes, I think that's about as blatant as you can get, isn't it, Dennis?
Yeah, plays on with waterlogged shorts.
Almost falling off.
I was trying to lip read Hopgood then.
What did he say?
I thought he said, "You're kidding."
Crawford, that's Shane. Pops it in short. Leckus inside the centre square. Plays on wide to Crummell. Nothing can be taken for granted here. He fumbles. Very greasy ball. It's not the adverse condition football either. This is Holland. Holland kicking down towards centre half forward from behind. Big leap down there by McCabe. He hooked at Goalwood, picked up by Harford. Harford gets it across to Crawford. Justin Crawford goes for goal. They go back about 5 metres out off the fingertips of Dixon, taken by Seekamp. Seekamp to Ingerson, and Ingerson puts it out of bounds on the full.
Jimmy Steins is coming on, and Jeffrey White coming off for Melbourne. Crawford. 45 metres out. He's on a pretty tough angle as the rain continues to belt down. Lead was on from Graham. That's been ignored. Also from Trelevin. Now he goes short into the pocket and finds Lord. This is a very tough angle. Even tougher than the one Crawford was on. So he's looking to go short. And he finds Graham. And maybe a Golden Globe, not an Academy Award performance.
But that was good play. This is where they've just brought the ball back inside to have now what is not too difficult a shot from that boundary line. Of course, Lord would have had almost no goal open to him. So just a little distributed. I don't think players use that little 10-metre kick inside quite enough from the real acute angles.
Holland going for his 4th goal. Might be an easy kick with a slippery ball, but he's got it.
Yes, Nick Holland has tried hard today. He really hasn't been able to I guess, mark the ball in the real contest against Ingerson, but he's ran around and been able to drop into slots, and 4 goals is a reasonable return in what has not been a day for really the tall marking players. But the Dunstall Holland's been a bit of a one-man show down there.
Holland 21 possessions, 4 goals. He's taken 10 marks. He's doing the ruck work now. Steins picks up the loose ball, comes away from the centre, kicks it down towards half forward. Inside the 50 it bounces. Chance for Bishop, elected to go to the ground. He played it pretty well, gets it across to Hopgood. He flicks it away towards Smoker, and he's been penalised again, Hopgood, this time for a throw. Free kick coming back to Shane Crawford, deep in the back pocket. That last goal for the Hawks, involving their best two players. Holland kicking the goal, and it was initiated by Aaron Lord. 28 possessions. Treleaven pops it over the top, very short, falling to the ground. Crummell, Treleaven, Shepherds comes through, then gathers the ball, forced into that roll, kicks it towards the outer side, paddling it towards the boundary line. Uze, Lord's got it again, arches the back, slips away, nicely done. Got the foot free and kicks it towards half forward. Taylor in front, he'll get the free kick. 62 to 104. The Hawks coming home pretty well. Too little too late though. Down towards the attacking 50. Up goes Holland through his hands behind Graham. Soccer's off the ground. It comes across to Chapman. Chapman snaps and hit the post. And the crowd having a bit to say after last week. I think it was the same post that hit.
And I'll tell you one thing, Dennis, I guarantee the people at home are getting a better view on their television than the spectators are here. You get a much better view within the dark conditions on the telly than you do through the haze at Waverley at the moment.
The Demons by 41 points, led by 56 at three-quarter time, 50 at half-time and 30 at quarter time. So they just maintain the pressure. Crawford caught by Leoncelli. It's been a feature of Melbourne's game today. They're tackling. Treleaven paddling the ball long in front. Febey goes to ground. Johnston, impressive young player, gaining confidence in the game. The kick's a poor one. Just slipped, kicked into Tallis. Again, it's a loose ball. McDonald is booted three. Taylor under pressure. Hawthorn just trying to maintain possession, and we see McCabe just slides the ball over for a boundary throw in. 104 to 63. Okay, 12 possessions and 2 marks today.
This percentage we spoke about at three-quarter time, and they've lost 2 goals in this quarter. Melbourne, Hawthorn scored 2, Melbourne haven't scored. So I'm sure Neil Danaher will be on the edge of his seat until the end of the game, because every goal may matter at the end of round 22.
Bishop, who looks like he's got a future in the game. He's done some nice things today to Smoker with his raking left boot. Scored a behind.
He has been quite impressive, Bishop. He seems to move well for a very tall player, 196 centimetres, but he's got a bit of a burst on the run. Only played 5 games. He does look like a player that's got a bit of a future.
Shane Crawford close to the boundary line. Harford kicking up towards half-back, missed by Robin. Bounced off his chest back inside the 50. Smoker was upended by Treleaven. Shane Crawford comes through. Good pick-up in the circumstances. Kicks it towards midfield. Uze's in the road, though. Back come Melbourne. Uze's kick floats to half-forward. McCabe takes off immediately. Luke McCabe out wide towards right half-forward. Lord. My word, he's played a good game. Great control there to Crawford. That's Justin, who gets it across to Chick. Chick goes inside the 50, long towards goal. Shanahan gets back, with him Chapman, and Shanahan concedes a behind.
Don't they look a different side, Melbourne also? We've spoken the difference between last year and this year with Shanahan at fullback. Gives them a guy who just doesn't get easily beaten at fullback. There's a bit of stability if your fullback position looks fairly safe. Shanahan gives Melbourne that.
Yes, and just so important, isn't it, to have that guy you can just place there at fullback. Graham's kick just wobbles into the forward line. Taken away by Leoncelli. Just stands and delivers. Gets good distance. Taken by Johnston. Comes through the centre square. Kicks the ball towards the half-forward line. He's got a loose player in Hopgood. Hard under these conditions to keep your advantage. Plenty of time for Crawford to close quickly. And that was an interesting hold there, Dennis. 105 plays, 64.
So is that.
55 metres around for Melbourne's goal.
He does look in danger, Paul Hopgood, of his shorts falling off. The elastic's just about got stretched with the wet conditions, I think.
He's got that look of the local park about him, hasn't it? The social game.
They're falling down.
Yeah, the social game.
Well, Hawthorn just trying to get a score on the board for their pride in this last term. Steins dribbles the ball along the ground. A bit of Gaelic coming back to Jimmy.
Here he goes again.
It's 3 times he's kicked the ball off the ground to himself.
Are they stats?
Absolutely. Gurgic to Rigoni. Couldn't keep his footing. Back to Woden. Goes short. Good vision. Still hard to grasp the ball. Is Hopgood. Has been in the play. Can't take control. Crawford can. Good clean hands that time. And comes away from halfback.
Steins again. Gets on the end of the errant kick. Plays on. Rigoni. It's been very good. Back towards the middle. Smoker up one-handed. Treleaven judged at best in flight. Started on the bench. Craig Treleaven comes across the ground to Hassel. Interesting hand pass. Justin Crawford in trouble. Hassel couldn't control it. Coming through strongly was Ward. Throws it on the boot and gains about 30 metres out of bounds in the left full forward pocket.
Have a look at those shots. You'd think they might bring him another pair out and just let him change them quickly.
I don't think he'd
They
let
really
them.
look like they're falling.
I think he would insist he stays with those.
He looks like Riddick Bowe.
So boundary throw in. Thumped away by Robran. Paddling it towards the line, Johnston, and out she goes once more. 105 to 64. All the sting has gone out of this game. Melbourne in control, but Hawthorn finishing better. Lee made the point. Melbourne need to be careful. Not going to lose the game, but they want the best margin they can take from this game. Crawford runs it out towards the boundary line. Another throw-in coming up. 5.5 minutes to go. Still plenty of football to come in round 11. All of it right here on the 7 network. A lot to look forward to. Robran and Steins. Steins could have got a free there. It goes down behind the pack. Picked up by Crawford. Justin gets it away to Leckis. Leckis kicks it through midfield. Going back is Seacamp. Almost the clever mark. Socket away by Uze.
It's on the edge of the centre square. Uze with the gloves. Handy pickup. Goes short and finds McDonald. Well, the Demons have only kicked 2 behinds in this final quarter. The Hawks have kicked 2 goals. McDonald's kicked 3 for the game. Still perched on the edge of the centre square. Gets the hurry up from the umpire. So he just kicks the ball long. So it'll be a group of players there, and the Wizard runs in. Quick snap, and he has drilled it. He's got 4, the Wizard. Maybe the goal of the year. Sensational goal early in this game. It's been on and off the ground a few times, Lee.
Yes, he's been very good, Jeff Farmer. Those 3 goals in the first quarter were the ones that really set up the game. He's been fantastic. 50 games he's played now. Kicked 81 goals, 85 goals now, and really a very, very dangerous small forward. I would think as this game's developed, he's been happy to cruise through to the end, not stretch the hamstrings too much.
.64 to 111 then, and fitting Jeff Farmer in the action late in the game because his start was electrifying.
It's interesting, we've talked about Hopgood and his the shorts in the last quarter, but Hopgood started off, and the blood ruled there with Seacamp. Hopgood started off tagging Crawford. Well, now Crawford is basically back in the defensive goal square with Hopgood. I'm not quite sure who's initiating that positioning.
Meanwhile, back in the middle, Ward is dragged down, kicks it inside the 50. Dropping back, Angelo Leckis takes the mark. Untidy hand pass. Crawford down over the ball, showed some courage. Robran picks it up, kicks it towards the wing. Bounces wide of Chick, picked up behind by Dixon. Dixon kicks towards space. They'll contest about 30 metres out. No real contest. But Chapman was aided by the bouncing ball to Taylor, and Taylor goes into an open goal.
Yes, just a fortuitous bounce then. Really, the Melbourne player looked like he had a chance to mark the ball. I think it was Ward and the ball went to ground and then just thrown into the hands. The old 1-2 over to Taylor, ran into the open goal to score.
.111 plays 70. Jimmy Steins directing traffic. Time clock ticking away. Just over 4 minutes left. Steins. Hands on the ball. Treleaven for a kick off the ground, didn't quite make contact. Paddling the ball along is Bishop. Certainly looks a player. Good size too. Puts it over on the full.
He can kick it a long way. Kicked a marvellous goal last week at Footy Park.
And another big goal in the third quarter here today as well.
Yep.
So Mark Graham, who surprisingly started on the interchange bench, with Chapman having the job playing on Garry Lyon, but soon was brought into the action.
And he laid it for 5 minutes. Lyon kicked 2 goals on Chapman, and then the change was made. And Graham, pretty competent defender, first game back from injury today.
Robran takes the front position. Leckers to Crawford, bundled off the ball. Crummell being picked up by Johnston, kicks the ball back towards centre half forward. Jeff White stood his ground against Graham. Going to ground. McCabe, quick hands to Crawford. He can set it up. Back to Hassel. They run it to the centre wing position, then kick very, very wide. Beats Chick over the line. So Melbourne by 41 points. Garry Lyon's booted 4 goals, so is Jeff Farmer. 3 goals to Anthony McDonald and 2 to David Schwarz, their leading goal kickers. And for the Hawks, Nick Holland's booted 4, 2 to Taylor and 2 to Jason Dunstall, both coming in the first quarter, now on the interchange bench. Kicked off the ground by Taylor, and again it will just slide over the line.
Just over 3 minutes till full time. The Demons cruising towards their 7th victory of the season. Steins, who started on the bench, has lent valuable support to White, who's now playing on the forward line. Knocked down by Crummell to Graham, back to Crummell, took a while, was taken high, untidy by Farmer. It will come back, I think, because he was in the act of kicking. So a free kick to Hawthorn. The supporters wanting a relayed free, but as you can see, all in the one motion really. Crummell's kick and the high tackle. Brendan Crummell, former Eagle, and Docker. Little short one to Robran. 2.5 minutes to go. Robran takes his time, kicks towards midfield. Treleaven from behind knocks it away from Johnston. Johnson played it pretty well though. Confronts an opponent there in Hassel. It came to Treleaven. Now Tallis is about 60 metres out. Tallis kicks towards Chapman on the lead. And Chapman is marked about 35 metres out. Started on Lyon.
Got to the front position well then, didn't he, Dennis? So maybe Shanahan was just a bit too concerned about where Chapman was. That allowed Chapman to get the yards break.
Talking about his start, immediately had his colours lowered by Lyon. That was an interesting kick. He kicked the ground before he connected with the ball. Well, they'll go back and replace the divot as the ball rolls out of bounds out at right half back. Don't often see that.
Just might not have been sure of his footing here, Lee.
Yeah, somehow or other. You don't see it often, but embarrassing when it does.
Jimmy Steins against Robran. Jimmy spent most of the first half on the interchange bench. Crawford takes it over. Had so many games this year, Hawthorn, Lee, where they could have grabbed victory. And I suppose it does wear you away after a period of time, and today, when most people thought, well, maybe they can come back, unfortunately Melbourne far too good today. Caught Melbourne in a very tough mood. Woden. Make that McDonald, kicks the ball high. Jeff White couldn't take it. Hopgood pounces on it and kicks a goal.
Yeah, she has done a pretty good job, I reckon, Hopgood. Crawford's got a fair bit of the ball, had 25-odd possessions, but I think in general he hasn't been a dominating player, so Hopgood's defensive pressure, which he applies fairly well, I think has probably not swung the drill his way, but stopped a very good Hawthorn player from having a great influence on the game, and good goal from the crumbing position.
89 to 10-10. Just over a minute till full time. Harford tentatively. Crawford at the base of the pack. Whistle, ball up. Umpire's whistled time on, I think, but the clock continues to run. Now it's stopped. Very inexact science, all of that. Well, the ruckmen grab each other initially. Coming through is Hassel. Moved it about a metre. Treleaven going nowhere. McCabe slaps it wide. Lord applies a tackle. Well done, but not before Rigoni kicked it about 10 metres. Going back, taking the mark is Crawford, who's tried hard in this final term. Justin Crawford putting it towards half-forward. Uze did well. No easy mark in this final quarter. Battled with his man body to body and then came forward to claim it. Adam Uze, left half back, kicking out towards the wing. After it goes Holland, close to the line, paddles it even closer and across it goes. So the clock is frozen on 20 seconds. And the margin is 47 points Melbourne's way.
And there's the brave spectators who today, with the rain tumbling down in this last quarter, have witnessed a pretty good Melbourne side today. Took control very early in the first quarter through Garry, Lyon and also Jeff Farmer. Led by 30 points at quarter time and never in danger. Dixon on screen and Woden just exchanging pleasantries. Just a few seconds left. 117 plays 70. Dixon out towards Hartford, kicks the ball in frustration. Not a good day for Hawthorn. A great one for Melbourne. 117 to 70. Hopgood on screen, finished off this last quarter with a goal. McDonald's booted 3 goals. Garry, Lyon spent a lot of the last term also on the interchange bench with 4 goals. Pretty big win today, Lee.
Oh yes, they just were too good. They set up in that first quarter, had a 7-goal to 2 margin at quarter time and increased the lead gradually. Hawthorn come a little bit and made a little bit of a run in that early in the third quarter. Melbourne got clear again, and then really the time was played out in the last quarter. Hawthorn reduced the margin fractionally, which I don't think was something Melbourne would be pleased about given their poor percentage, but just to get home, turned 7-4 Melbourne would at the halfway point of the season. So the season is now set up for them to participate in the finals if they can just have a reasonable second half of the season.